go, something which is so popular, such a common topic to talk about when people are really into personal development. They always understand and appreciate that they need to let go in order to make space for something new coming into their life, but they often have trouble with actually letting go. It's like everyone says to let go, but they don't know how. So many women are coming to me saying, I know I need to let go, but I just don't know how. Show me how. And so that's really, one of my zones of genius, really helping women to actually let go. So in this video today, I'm just going to be talking about the 5 key mistakes that people make when trying to let go of the past or when trying to let go of resentment. And obviously why it's so important for us to actually practice letting go is because holding on to things which do not serve you, holding on to past hurts, or holding on to ideas about how things should be, or holding on to lacks, things that you're missing in your life, this is actually what is causing a lot of suffering for you mentally and emotionally, and really holding you back from full potential. So learning to let go is like one of the greatest skills that we can learn for our own fulfillment, for our own happiness, because obviously in life, nothing is permanent. Things are always changing. And so when you're holding on to the past and holding on to how things are supposed to be or meant to be, then you end up missing out on like so much beauty that could be happening in your life instead. When, instead of living in the past, you want to be really in the present and soaking up every moment of your life. So let's talk about those 5 key mistakes that people make when trying to let go. So the first one is all about self-sabotage. So the most common way that this comes up is because people are afraid to let go on some level. There's a fear inside of them that actually keeps them trapped in their current paradigm, the current uncomfortable situation. Because even if your current situation is really uncomfortable, like let's say you are in a job that you hate, or you're holding on to a past hurt or a past trauma that's causing you a lot of pain, the ego, the part of you that is associated with that being your identity, is holding on to that part of you, that memory, that experience of you, those negative emotions. It is holding on because that is familiar. That is what it identifies with. So that part of you ends up sabotaging your ability to finally be free of it and to stop being like that version of you and step into that new version of you. Because ultimately letting go, it's this journey of letting go of who you're not, letting go of a version of you that is in the past and stepping into that new version of you in the future. So we need to be willing to basically do that death of the ego, let go of the things that do not serve us and create that space for things that are more in alignment. Another way that people tend to self-sabotage is, let's say they're holding on to resentment. Someone has hurt them in their past. I was speaking to a client this morning who was holding on to some resentment towards her mum. And obviously I did the mother wound, healing the mother wound video yesterday on that topic. But she was holding on to this resentment to her mum because she thought that if she were to fully let go of this hurt, then she would basically be condoning her mum's behavior, which was very bad in the past in her upbringing. So she was holding on to that resentment, thinking that was, what she had to do in order to not let her mum get away with how she treated her. But ultimately, this was just keeping her trapped in that prison, because if she wasn't willing to let go of the past hurt and the past trauma, then she was just reliving the same pain over and over and over again. So when you forgive someone, when you let go of resentment that you have towards that person, it's not about setting the other person free. It is about setting yourself free so you can move on with your life, so you can be emotionally free and be happy instead of holding on to bitterness and resentment. We really want to overcome that mistake of self-sabotaging your own emotional letting go process and moving on and being free and happy. Okay. So the second mistake that people make with letting go is thinking that when they let go, they're going to get hurt again. So this in particular applies to that situation where they're holding on to a past hurt that someone's done to them, a past wrong that someone's done to them. So they think that when they allow their heart to be fully healed, to be fully open, they think that's allowing them to be vulnerable to more hurt coming their way. And so the switch that I like to make with my clients is letting them know that living with an open heart isn't what's going to cause you hurt in your life, because you have to live with an open heart, but then have these loving boundaries, like protecting you from a place of love. You do not want to go through life with a wounded heart and with these really tense guards up on your heart. That feels like suffocating. It feels like you're not open to be yourself and fully expressing yourself and deeply loving and cherishing joy and these precious moments in your life. You always feel like you're limited in your experience because you're feeling guarded and like it's not safe to experience the fullness of life. So we really want to learn how to heal the heart, be open-hearted, but also maintain these healthy boundaries, so you're not allowing, other people to hurt you and create these situations in your life where you're creating the resentment towards them. Okay. The third mistake that people make when they're wanting to let go is they often try to bypass the actual process of healing and letting go of this wound that they have. So it's very easy, because we live in a culture of instant gratification. It's very easy for us to just jump to the good bit, to just focus on chasing something that's going to make you happy, or is going to make you whole, or going to make you feel successful. But that is not letting go. That is just, running away from the problem. It is pushing it down, ignoring, or trying to escape and numb out the problem. So instead, to actually let go, the process of letting go in itself requires you to actually lean in to that pain, to that wound that you have. And when you lean in to what it is that you're feeling, the thing that you want to let go of, that in itself starts to allow that negative experience to be processed. And when things can get processed, then you can really surrender it and let go. That is actually the letting go process. We don't want to bypass that processing and just skip to a good bit, because we're just trying to stick a band-aid on a wound. We want to do that healing of the wound first, and then that automatically creates space for more amazing things to come into your life. And it's more effortless because it's a natural flow of letting go and inviting things to come into your life. Okay, there's no more force and push and struggle to try and make things better. Okay, the fourth mistake that people tend to make when it comes to trying to let go is that they don't know how to let go, or they don't know if they're doing it right. So share with you it's a bit of an extreme example, but one of my clients, she was here in Bali a few weeks ago, came to visit from Singapore, and we did an in-person session, and she basically wrote down some things that she told me at the beginning of the session that she wanted to let go of. And I'm like, okay, great, we're going to do it. We're going to release it in the session and let it go. And I asked her to write it down. So she wrote all of these things down. She was very clear about the things that she wanted to let go of. And it was actually 5 things that she wrote down. We went through our session. We went through the rest of the day and had a beautiful day. After we did that healing, we basically filled her up with so much pleasure, going to the beach, being on the cliffside, looking out to the sea, drinking cacao. We were dancing in the sunshine, having such a good time. And by the end of the day, in the evening, I asked her, how does she feel about those things that she wanted to let go of? And 3 out of those 5 things, she couldn't even remember what they were anymore. They had been completely banished from her memory. That was pretty crazy. And the other 2 things, she just felt completely neutral to. She'd moved on and accepted them. So this is how we can know when we've actually truly moved on, when things don't trigger us anymore, when we're neutral to them, accepting of them, or when they've completely kind of gone from our memory. And we have to think really hard to try and remember what those things were. That's how we know when we've truly let go. So we don't want to, rush the process of letting go, or get mistaken into thinking that we have let go when actually we have not. Because if you're still getting triggered, if patterns from that experience, from that issue that you want to let go of, if the patterns are still appearing in your life, then you actually have a bit more work to do. And it can be easy, it can be fun, because it's not going into the depths of darkness and bringing up lots of stuff from your past. Is actually allowing you to heal and let go of these things that don't serve you, so you can create the life that really does serve you. Okay. The 5th mistake that I see people making when they're trying to let go is they're not doing a full being letting go. So what I mean by that is so often people are trying to let go on the mental level. So they're trying to erase things from their mind, or trying not to think about things, and they're fighting their thoughts. I don't want to think about that. I want to move on from that. And this creates a negative feeling when you're always stuck in your mind. You're trapped in this prison in your mind of fighting all of these thoughts. So people often try to focus on that, but there are actually many different layers that we can release and actually truly let go from. So we go deeper into letting go of emotions, like processing hurt emotions that are stuck there. So in our culture, in today's modern society, there's actually people don't really know how to process their emotions. We end up being numbed out from our emotions. We get highs and lows, but you don't know how to actually heal and let go and process those emotions. So we want to do that, letting go on the emotional level. And going deeper than that, it's on the energetic level, and going deeper than that on the physical level as well. So we go through all layers of the being to actually let go. And that gives you a way more substantial process of letting go. So I'll share with you like an example. Last week, I was with one of my clients, and she was processing like a trauma from her childhood. And this trauma had actually created an imprint like in her energetic, emotional body and her physical body. So she actually had like trauma manifested in her body as a really tight chest. Like she had trouble breathing often, where she felt like she was gasping for air. And we went into that memory and processed that memory, processed the emotions that were connected to that memory, and allowed her to really release somatically, like physically in the body, release what was stuck there, what she was holding on to her whole life. So all of that negative emotion and memory and trauma was finally released from her being. And she was just like, I can finally breathe, like I feel free. And it's like she couldn't believe that this one trauma from her childhood had been like stuck in her psyche and causing so much negativity in her life, even to this day. So we can really do these deep layers of letting go to really be free from, these negative experiences from your past. So it is possible to do that really deep healing and let go on that deep, deep level. And that's going to allow you to feel that emotional freedom and be happy in your life. So there we go. I've just gone through the 5 key mistakes that people make when they're trying to let go. So I know some of you are just joined quite late. So hi, Freya. Hi, Jay. Hi, Zara. I know some of you joined late, so I'm going to save the video to my feed. Just to recap, 5 key mistakes that people make when they're trying to let go: sabotaging the process of letting go because their ego won't let them. It is thinking that letting go or forgiving someone is going to let the other person free, when instead it's actually going to let them free, and they're afraid of living with an open heart because they might get hurt again. The 3rd mistake is people try to bypass. They're not willing to go into that discomfort to process and release. They try to skip to the good bits. 4th area is that they don't know how to let go or don't know when they've let go. And the 5th mistake is that people don't know how to let go fully, like into all depths of their being. So make sure you watch the replay to get the in-depth description of each of those mistakes and how to, and if you're wanting to learn like how to fully let go and create more space in your life for the greatness, then you can click the masterclass link in my bio, and you'll learn more about the natural balance methodology and how you can really break free from these patterns and obstacles in your life and start to create something which is more intentional, more in alignment with you and the life that you want to create. So make sure that you check that out, and send me a DM if this resonates deeply with you, if you're wanting support on letting go and doing that healing, doing that forgiveness work so you can be free from resentment and free from your past. So looking forward to hearing from you, wishing you the best day ahead, and I'll see you soon.